Hey guys, I just wanted to reach out to you and let you know that Surewinder is still selling amazing products. Some of you guys have been dragging your feet for whatever reason. If your shoulder hurts, do not waste time. Pull the trigger. I just bought 4 or 5 of them, and we had 2 guys out. You know how much it cost me to pay for 2 guys being out with bad shoulders? We just pulled the trigger and we said, listen, everybody's going to have one on a truck. It's mandatory. You got to use it. Don't hesitate. Don't wait till your guys go down. It's going to cost you more. Buy a Surewinder. It's not every day someone invents something that changes the game. I found out about this product that I'm talking to you about, and I had to try it. So I ordered a few, and after using it, I'm sold. Now we stock them on our trucks. It's called All Brace, and it will help you sell more service and buy you time until doors come in. There's never been a greater time for a product like this. Phil has video on his website of him cutting a door literally in half, installing the All Brace, and running it like nothing ever happened. It is literally incredible. One of the greatest selling videos I've ever seen. You're going to want to check it out at all-brace.com. Hey guys, welcome to Torsion Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan, and today is the second episode of all the guys from GDU coming in. And so we've got 8 guys in the room, right? Did I count that right? Mm-hmm. And we're going to hear from each of them, introduce themselves, tell a little bit about their experience here at Aaron Overhead Doors. So we're going to start with Marty Arman. Did I say that? Pronounce that right?
Yep.
Arman. Introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your company and where you're from.
Marty Arman.
Yeah, speaking to the mic.
Excuse me.
There you go.
There we go. All right. First timer. Marty Arman, Graysonville, Maryland. Arman's Garage Doors. Family business. Dad started it in 75. I took it over 2016. Currently got 3 full-time techs, myself, and my mom still answers the phone.
Nice. Do you have any conflicts with family ever?
No, every time, like all day. The one thing about a family business is I feel that when you've been doing it for so long, it's kind of the only thing you know how to talk about. Mm. And it's hard to get that separation, even, when you're telling your parents that you're having a baby or at Christmas or anything like that. So
they're like, how are you going to do garage doors with a baby?
Yeah. Strap him to my back and go up the ladder.
There you go. So, Marty, first of all, thank you for coming on the show and coming down to Aaron Overhead Doors and spending some time with us. What were some of the takeaways that you felt were important to you in your business that you might want to implement? And or what are some things that you think you do very well when it comes to culture that you could share with us?
I think the biggest thing is just caring about your employees and understanding what's going on in their lives to help you and them, to work together. And, common interests and stuff like that, and being able to allow them to have the family time that they need and want. And,
Yeah, I mean, from an employee standpoint, I think that's valuable because if they think you value money more than them, then it's flipped. Even though we are in this to make money, and we can't lose sight of that, right? We're here to make money. But if they feel like just a machine to make money, then it doesn't feel right? And so we talked a little bit about this in the last episode with the other guys, is that it takes a lot of trust in your employees that if you treat them right, they'll treat your customers right. And if you have the right people, that will happen. And so, but as a business owner, it's called faith, right? Believing in something unseen. And so you're trusting and believing that if you treat your people right, that they're going to treat your customers right. And that's a tough thing. And if you don't feel comfortable with that, you almost have to reevaluate yourself and also your staff and make sure that you have the right dynamics there. But yeah.
And just let them be proactive in the decision making with new hires and even policies, pricing, all of it, jobs. I've got some jobs that are pretty far away, and I'll always ask them, like, hey, big job, 2-hour drive without traffic. Would, something that would be okay? And usually it's yes. Sometimes it's definitely a no, because especially when it's going to be done around the summertime or the wintertime. My guys like to hunt and fish, so if it's not hunting season, it's fishing season at home. So, that's always, and then try not to work weekends or anything like that.
Yeah.
So.
And if you need to cover weekends, you can do alternating schedules, right? Like what we do is Saturdays are big days for us in service. So we'll have like 1 week, a guy will work Monday through Friday. The next week, they'll work Monday through Saturday. And the next week, they'll work Monday through Thursday. So they'll get like a long weekend off 1 week, like a little bit of a longer week the other week, and then a normal week. And that helps out a lot and gives people the opportunity to have some time and spend that time. And if they schedule it right, they can take little vacations. They can plan. Maybe they take one of their like paid PTO days on a Thursday or a Monday, and now you got 4 days, or it just makes it a lot easier, right, to utilize your PTO and have that relaxation time. So, and if you coordinate well enough, you maybe can get your spouse or your kids or whatever to take that time off as well. So good feedback, man. Thanks for sharing. All right, bro. Shamrock Overhead Doors. This guy right here comes up with some great content. I love watching some of the stuff he comes up with. He's extremely creative. So I'm gonna let him introduce himself and tell us where you're from. Go to it.
Awesome. My name is Joshua Ray Smith and hail from Boston, Massachusetts. Actually, it's Walpole, but anyways, last time I was down here in Georgia, I was just getting out of basic training. Imagine that. So it's great to be down here again. So I started Shamrock Overhead Door in 2000, about going into 2010. I just came off a combat tour in Afghanistan. The market was still suffering from the crash of '08, and nobody was hiring. In our industry, nobody was hiring, so couldn't find a job anywhere. In fact, job that I had lined up when I was due to come home, that company closed because of the recession. So from there, I literally took our last $40 and got a business license with it, and got some white line paper and went door to door and told everybody I was Shamrock Overhead Door, and now we're here. So
That's crazy.
So yeah, I mean, again, it's definitely an honor to be down here. I started following your podcast, Ryan, about a year ago, I believe, and I was like, this industry is just absolutely amazing. I mean, now we have somebody who runs a podcast, just that's awesome. So,
and you're on it.
Yeah, and I'm on it right now. Oh my God, wow, man, you're right. That just hit me. It's awesome. So yeah, we, coming down here to Aaron Overhead Door was just it was a mind-blowing experience because, we were just having some discussions about this, that there's really not a lot of guidance for our industry, right? Like we don't really have those places where we can go and catch the information that we need. I mean, the information comes in integrals, so it gets convoluted at times. So coming down here to actually go to another company and see how they're doing it has been absolutely mind-blowing. But
and I encourage door dealers everywhere, because I've been blessed just because I do the podcast. I know a lot of people, and they invite me, or I'll ask them, hey, can I come check out your operation? I see people post online, and if they're like bigger or older than me, and you have to be careful too, because if you're a small operation and you come here or you go to somewhere else and they're really big, it can feel overwhelming. But in reality, you have to look at it in different areas, right? So like when I went up to Cincinnati to visit Adam Weber, who just did a show with us not too long ago. I came back here and I was frustrated because I was like, man, he's got this, he's got all this profit and all this stuff, and I'm freaking banging my head on the wall, and I feel like I'm freaking failing all the time. But then you have to look at things. You can really get discouraged that way, but you have to look at things like, what do we do really well, right? And then let's just build on that and take it a day at a time, and not compare ourselves, but just look at it and be like, hey, this is them. They're unique. They got their own personality. This is us. We got our own personality.
Right.
And we can still take things away from each other, but we still don't want, like, there's no sense in anybody in this room trying to be Aaron Overhead Doors. Just like I don't think I need to be AE Door and Window. But he does so many things well that it's so good to see it. And when I come back here, I can be like, hey, you remember, like Josh and I both went, do you remember when he did this? I'm not saying we do it exactly that way, but what if we did it this way? And he's like, yeah, that would work here. And so that's the type of thing, like being able to visually see it and take things away, I think is freaking huge. And it doesn't have to be like through GDU or, whatever. You can like reach out to people on Facebook, and like 9 times out of 10, I see these guys that are like, yeah, you guys can come visit. I mean, that's just cool, right? And you can go to different places and see different things. I got 2 or 3 guys that I'm trying to go visit. Most of them are up north, so I'm kind of waiting for the snow to melt and get a little warmer. But
come on up to Boston anytime.
Yeah,
maybe in the middle of summer.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. No, I mean, but you're right though. It's like that. It's like everything there's so many different ingredients that we can pick and choose from.
Yeah.
So many different CRM systems, and you got a house called Pro, Service Titan, and everybody uses a little bit of everything. But it's like you get that information, you take it back, and you apply it to your systems. Like company culture, right?
Yeah.
Talking about company culture, I know that is something that's absolutely important, because that is one thing I promised. I promised myself that I was going to build.
Here, talking to the mic a little bit.
Sorry,
you're good.
Not used to being in the studio. I don't think any of us are, right?
No.
Okay.
I'm the only one.
He's the only one. The company culture is absolutely something. My God, we started applying, little games. My wife came in and ran her first meeting for Shamrock last week, and she absolutely killed it. She ran a little session called Sweet and Sour instead of like, your highs and lows. She took Sweet and Sour, and she had like little food designs up on the big screen. We run our meetings every Tuesday morning. We cut out we invest that 1 hour to everybody to really hear them out and come up with ideas together. We went axe throwing last month. That's awesome. But yeah, she came in, she killed it, and I really feel that everybody walked out of that room. I love seeing it when everybody walks out of that room, and they're pumped up for the day. It's amazing. So
that's cool. Well, thanks for sharing. We appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
Nathan, from sunny California, snowy sunny California, where you're at.
No, not really, actually. No, it's the summers that are rough where we're at. It's like 115 degrees.
Ouch.
Yeah, winters are nice. It's 70 degrees right now.
115?
Yeah, it's rough.
California? I did not know that.
It's rough.
But you get, like, how close are you to the coast?
Like 3.5 hours.
So you don't get a break?
Yeah, we're in a little valley, so.
That sucks.
Yeah.
So you're, like, trapped in, like.
Yeah. All the heat from Sacramento and San Francisco comes up the valley and just stops. Oh, bro.
Is it, like, high-end there?
No. It used to be called Poverty Flats, but we're changing that, right? So we're pushing high-end doors, even though people say we shouldn't.
Make your niche, bro.
Yeah, that's right.
So tell us a little bit about your company, what city you guys are in.
So yeah, I'm Nathan. Pro Garage Doors is our company. We're in Redding, California, about 3.5 hours north of San Francisco. Yeah, we started 2018. I sold a door business in Colorado and moved out there. Yeah, we've got 3 techs, myself, and our office coordinator.
Nice.
So.
And so what made you want to move to California from Colorado?
We were ready to get out of Denver as a bigger city, and we wanted to get to a smaller town, a little bit smaller local culture. So yeah, we hunted all over. We went to 26 different states trying to find a place we wanted to live, and
Wow.
ended up in
You
Reading.
traveled around that way?
Yeah, we went all over the East Coast.
What's
and,
the city name?
Reading.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
familiar with that.
Yeah.
There's a church there
Yeah.
that's really popular.
Bethel Church. Yeah.
Yeah. They have their own like music.
Bethel music.
Yeah. It's pretty good too.
Pretty popular.
If you guys
Yeah.
are into some freaking gangster Christian, not gangster, probably not. Yeah, but it's
No.
it's like really good worship music.
Yeah.
They,
Town of
like,
100,000 people. I think there's like 10,000 people go to church there. So
yeah, it's crazy.
yeah.
And your pastors are like, is that where you go to church?
Yeah.
Yeah. Your pastors are like really big on social media, and
I won't say who did their garage doors, but
that's okay. You didn't do them?
yeah, we did.
Oh, nice. Good job. All right. So what are some takeaways you've got or things that you do that you feel like would help us?
Yeah. One thing I really liked was atmosphere. Like, you're creating an atmosphere that people actually want to be in. Our shop is kind of a rough looking shop, and there's, it's just a little hole in the wall. We don't have a break room or anything. And coming here, it's nice when you walk in the conference room and you're just like, it's nice in here. Like, I'd like to be in here. So, trucks are nice. Like, warehouse is clean. Like,
There's the
you
cost
enjoy
of all
showing
that.
up. Oh yeah, totally. And that's what I was thinking about, is like, this all costs money. So how do we change our pricing structure so that we can provide this? I
You
think
deserve it.
exactly. Yeah. So I think that's what I'm walking away with is like, let's change our pricing structure in a way that we can make this happen where we're at too.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
I like that a lot.
Thanks for sharing, dude.
Thanks for
That's a
having us.
unique answer. I haven't had that one yet.
Thanks. Yeah.
So I do believe like, and I'll give a shout out to Tommy Mello. Like, that's his thing, right? Like, if you want it bad enough, raise your prices and go get it.
That's right.
And that doesn't work in every scenario, but it's genuinely a decent model.
Yeah.
But you can't go crazy with it.
Right.
But if you like right now, I have this like dream org chart that I created, and it's got a couple layers, and I think our company would run like a freaking well-oiled machine and be amazing if we had this org chart, right? And it's like, what is it going to take to get these people? And so you're looking at a lot of different things. Like, some of it's just going to be natural growth. Some of it's going to be like adjusting pricing. So we're trying to be proactive, adjusting prices, try to get to the point where we can get those people. And that was just an idea that I had gotten from Tommy, where he was like, why do you have to wait? Why not raise your prices now as if you already have those people, and then prove that you can do it, and then go hire those people. And some of these employees, like, if you do it right, they'll pay for themselves. So I think that's really cool too, whether that's making it more efficient or being able to cut cost.
Right. And that's another thing, not just raise your prices, but how can we refine our process in a way that we're being more profitable so we can afford that? And like, that gives you a reason to do it too. Like, all of us need like a little kick in the butt to make things happen, push things forward. So if you can see where the vision is and what you want to come out of it, it kind of helps you like, okay, we can sacrifice here or there because we know what we're going for.
Yeah.
So,
love it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nathan, for
Yeah, no
sharing.
problem.
Sebastian. So Sebastian's in Arizona, and he's probably our most unique personality and fun-loving person that we have in the entire group.
Okay.
And what I love about Sebastian is he's extremely innovative. He understands technology, but he also understands garage doors, which is a very unique mix. You don't get that a lot. And so he's able to contribute a lot in the group to helping out and giving ideas. His mind works in a path of like marketing. He takes a lot of pride in his business, and I just love your passion and everything that you do. So
Thank you.
Introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your company and where you're from.
Okay. My name's Sebastian LeBlanc. I own Iconic Garage Door Service. We're out of Phoenix, Arizona. So I started this a year and a half ago. I left a company that was just, there was zero company culture. It was horrible. And I don't know why I stayed there as long as I did, but I knew I wanted something different. And I interviewed with a couple companies around town. I felt like it was not as bad as where I was, but it felt a lot the same, a lot of the, felt like people were just numbers, and I called a couple people that I knew from the past, and they knew me and they respected me, and they knew what I wanted to do and what kind of company I wanted to build. And I got really lucky with the first two hires that they're just amazing people that have put everything into it, just like I have, And I genuinely care about my people. So, and we started out strong, and I was actually really excited to come here because we've grown pretty fast, and in my opinion, anyway.
I would say so.
Yeah,
you got probably one of the fastest growth trajectories of anybody I've ever seen. That's such an early stage.
I started out with a installer and me, and I hired a girl day one, and then within 6 months we hired another tech. Within another 3, we hired another tech. 3 months later, another tech, and now we just hired another door installer. And I'm moving one of my guys up into the office, so now I'll have like a manager type role in the office. So,
how old's your company?
So I took 6-7 months off, and before I really got it going, and just went through every process and problem that I thought could come up and how I want to handle it. And so the company, we officially launched July 15th of 2020, but really, I took 6 months before that and put all the pieces together before we started.
So that's interesting. I've never heard of anybody doing that, but maybe that played a huge role in the ability to scale the way you did.
It did. I'm lucky to have a good mentor with my dad, who owns a big, it's a big company. Why I don't work for him is ridiculous, but
but he's obviously a good mentor and was able to give you some guidance.
Yeah. And so when I left, I was like, I need a truck and a rack and let's go, and he's like, and he talked me out of that. Actually, I definitely got to give that credit to him. He's like, no, you need to take 3-4 months. And that 6 months, I remember going through a drive-through and my card declined. I sold pallets of meat. I was selling meat door to door, trying to get my company. I was flipping RVs, just doing anything I could to keep the bills paid, We had just bought a house. It was crazy. Then I had back problems. It was nuts. We made it, though. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad you're here. What's a takeaway that you would like to share about Aaron Overhead Doors, or something that you do that you feel like we could take away?
It starts from the top. Ryan doesn't pretend to care about his guys. There's a lot of guys that in companies where they're like, okay, I need these people, so I need to pretend like I care about them. And Ryan doesn't do that. Like, you can tell he genuinely cares and wants his guys to be happy and succeed. And you can see it in the way he runs the business, the way he hires his people. I think he's careful, very careful about who he brings in, because he's going to be passionate about that person and make sure,
And I've been burned so many times before. I think that you almost grow into having to be careful and spend a lot of time making sure. Our hiring process now is, like, if we have somebody interested, Tamara talks to them first. She's asking questions to see if they're a good culture fit. Then I talk to them. Then we bring them in, and they meet with me, my general manager, and Tisha. And I've made mistakes and rushed the process and offered somebody quickly, and that's bit us in the butt before.
Yeah.
You guys have to say anything?
Can I say something, this Nathan? One thing that really struck me yesterday in regards to that was you said you had to let somebody go that was a good employee, and that struck me pretty big. Like, we want to be a
not
great
necessarily
company,
a good employee,
or
but
a
great installer. Just didn't fit the culture. Had a bad attitude, and he was a freaking killer door guy.
But
right?
the fact that he wasn't like great with your culture was enough, and that struck me pretty big.
Yeah, the higher the standards, I think, the better it gets.
Yeah.
So
we did all that work out of a shipping container on an empty lot that I own. It's kind of crazy, But we just signed a lease. Actually, when I fly home, I'll be signing the lease.
Congratulations.
And yeah, I'm excited about that. And so to see some of the way you guys were doing stuff, you know,
like just
was
organizing
great.
a warehouse, I feel like is just, that was so stressed out about the warehouse all the time, going up to AE door in a window and kind of seeing like what racks he uses and how he stores stuff. Like it's amazing just how much that helps, right? Like just marking it off the list so you don't have to stress about it, because nobody wants to set up a huge warehouse and then have to redo it. Like, you know, I mean, so yeah, I think it's freaking great.
I took a lot from this weekend. I
That's
appreciate it.
I'm glad. Makes me feel good.
You
All
should.
right. And you probably gave Tamara the hardest time. Consistency in everything, including price, reliability, quality. Not just quality, but great quality control. These are things that describe Somer USA. Somer's not some startup company, not one that you need to be worried about going out of business in the near future. Somer and their family of businesses are $200 million companies. They're in over 100 countries, and they have locations in 20 countries. This is a large organization who stands behind their product and works through integrity. And there's not another company out there willing to drop what they're doing and help you out like Somer. These guys are awesome. Not only have they been loyal to the Torsion Talk Podcast, they've been loyal to the technicians and the owners of the companies who install their product. In my opinion, if you're not at least offering Somer as an additional option, you're cheating yourself. Listen, first-time dealers, I've got a special for you. If you buy 10 or more Somers between now and the end of the season 6, while supplies last, we will offer you free shipping. You have no more excuses. The prices are great. The product is amazing. Go check out Somer USA and order 10 for free shipping. I'm going to tell you guys a marketing secret. You want to gain more social media likes, shares, and follows? People love unique and cool projects. There are no better photos to share than the ones on Schweiss Doors social accounts. These guys post some incredible things. Make sure to go there and like and share their Facebook and Instagram post with your business account. So if you like their business account, you can share their post. The bifold doors are awesome, and they're doing some great projects that will go viral on social media if you share them. Go right now to Schweiss Door on Facebook and check out some of the projects they share and like their page. Oh, and don't forget, no one builds a better bifold than Schweiss. No, I'm just kidding.
You think? I did a little bit. She did great. She did great.
Yeah,
We were like, we're driving back to the hotel, and she's like, no, we can't do that, Ryan. This. I'm like, Ryan is not here.
I don't care.
No. She is like,
you guys are proposing.
yeah,
I was like,
we're not going to mention it, you know?
So if you guys were going to rob somebody, that's
No.
probably a good thing that she was holding you back.
She's got your back, bud.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, bro. Choice Garage Doors. Bring it to us, man. Let us know.
Yeah, I'm Ivan, and with Choice Garage Doors, like Ryan said. Yeah, I had a great time here. It was really good to.
Where are you guys out of?
Oh, sorry. Yes, Afton, New York. So
Nobody knows where that's at. But
yeah, how do I explain that? 3.5 hours from New York City in the hills. So
There you go.
Got to take a buggy to get there.
How long have you owned the company?
So I started on my own doing garage doors in 2012. Been in the construction industry all my life, but only ever installed maybe 2 doors. So that's how I started.
Very nice. So one thing about Ivan that I absolutely love, I'm drawn to people like Ivan because he makes good decisions, but doesn't trust himself a lot. And so watching him like starting to trust himself over time,
Which you're pushing me to do.
I'm challenging you, is freaking so fun to watch though, dude, because it's freeing, right? Like you are a smart guy, you make good decisions, and you second guess yourself too much. But when I'm starting to see you come out of your shell a little bit and trust yourself more, it's freaking great. And I can see that it's less stress on you, and you're starting to trust more and more. And I freaking love it, dude. I love watching you do what you do, man. It's fun.
Thank you.
So
Yeah, and that's this best part of the GDU groups, I think, is just, I mean, my group, we got to get to know each other and ask each other pointed questions and hold each other accountable. Sometimes we talk about this and that and maybe don't get to the point as much as we should. But, it's been really good.
So what is something that you learned here that you think would be valuable to point out, or something that you do that you think that we would enjoy?
Well, one thing that stood out to me here was it's easy to talk about company culture, but seeing it, it's like, wow, and I feel like at home we have a good company culture. My whole team member, our core values are very, very similar, like phenomenal, but I guess a lot of this is just leadership developing, seeing my need for leadership to develop, and being able to develop leadership within my team. And I think Ryan has done that a lot with his team, and you see it. You see it in Josh. You see it the way Josh relates to, the other employees. And one thing I noticed, if you go ask, employee what they do, I see a lot of humility there, and yet they'll have each other's back. I don't even quite know how to explain it, and I can't quite process it all, but I can just amazing stuff going on here. Hearing Josh talk, where not Josh, JoJo.
Oh yeah, Joe.
Yeah.
He's one of my service guys.
Yeah. He didn't believe the company culture was what you said it was until he joined, and after he was part of it, he was like, wow, and just seeing that, that was really, that interview with JoJo was phenomenal.
Yeah.
It really was. And seeing everybody working together and asking the employees questions.
That's good.
So
I'm glad you enjoyed that. Jay, what up, big dog?
What's happening?
All right, so my biggest challenge here is we're trying to keep this under like 3 hours.
Everybody that knows me's laughing right now.
We've done very well. We're at 29 minutes, and now we have Jay.
Yeah.
This very well could be 60 minutes before we get to the next guy, but
I can.
Jay's got one of the biggest hearts of anybody you've ever met in your life, and I admire him greatly. It's easy for guys to get hard or to pretend like you're hard just to create that tough exterior. I love it when guys wear their heart on their sleeves. And Jay's one of those guys, and I feel like if I ever really needed somebody to talk to where I could trust them and I could like pour my heart out and ugly cry on the phone, like Jay would be one of the top guys I feel like I could call, and he would give me good advice, and he would be compassionate and caring and show empathy. He carries a lot of the characteristics of a great leader, and he's been around the earth like probably since dinosaurs, so maybe that plays a role with it.
I'm the old man in the group.
Yeah, but
probably about 20 years on everybody.
He gives great advice. It may take him 30 minutes to get to the point, but it's great advice, and there are a lot of the young bucks in the group, including myself, learn a lot from him, and he does a great job of kind of helping out with the younger cats, and I think you still learn too.
Oh yeah,
he's still hungry and learning. I think that's freaking awesome.
Actually, yeah.
I'm like 95 and he's still learning stuff.
Yeah, I know.
It's awesome.
Yeah. I am. I opened OCS August 2000.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm going to push 22 years here pretty soon.
Was this BC or AD?
Yeah, BC or AD. But it's it's been a fascinating experience, and the reason I left, I actually had an opportunity to buy a Sears dealer store and realized that wasn't a smart move way back. But the reason I started the company was because I wanted to make sure that I could spend time with my boys. And I had some offers, pretty nice offers, and I just didn't want to spend the time. And I've learned I'm not the only one that's walked away from big money to do something different, just, for other reasons. And I know you did, and it's, it really does make a difference when you have full control. And I remember telling this guy, he gave me a 6-figure offer back then. That was a lot of money and corporate. And I just told him, I said, I don't want to go. And he said, is it that nice? I'm in Hilton Head, South Carolina area. Actually, I live in Beaufort. Businesses in Beaufort. I actually live in a little town called Yamasee. Anybody that's a Marine probably knows where Yamasee is. But I said, no. I said, call me in 18 years and I'll see if I'm interested. And he says, is that nice? I said, no. I got 2 boys, and I said, I don't want to lose that time. So this business allowed me to do that, and I did. And now they're grown, and I'm going to be a granddaddy soon, and that's going to be really I'm excited. But, so we've been doing this for a lot of years. And the one thing I think about, though, that I feel like I have done right is I never really have churned employees that much. Most of the guys that have worked for me have moved on, but it was after 5, 6, 7 years. And I saw garage door companies in our market that would turn people over in months. And I just been really blessed.
I'll push
by
them
getting
out
the
in
right
a
guy.
month if I don't think they fit.
But I'm talking
Yeah,
about,
I
they
understand what
just
you're saying.
continuously. I know there's one company, and I know the owner, and he's a great guy. But I went and saw him. Went down there 6 months. I was about 9 months ago, and I went back to stop by and pick up some doors that were going to be delivered to me from a different company. And, it was fascinating to see that there was only one person there that I actually knew from the last time I was there. And that really surprised me. And when you're doing what we do, it's, that can cause a lot of problems. And, but the thing I've gotten most about being here is I've redefined my excitement in the business. I'm sitting here at 60, and there's probably a lot of guys out there that are in my boat looking at 65 or 70. When do you want to retire? And it's like, I was a year or so ago, I was really saying, like, should we just close the doors, take the money and close the doors? And but I was tied in by, everybody knows about Roman. We had a long talk, and he turned me on to a podcast, and from a podcast, I heard about a GDU group, and it was like all of a sudden I'm in amongst the guys that are young. And that's one thing I've learned, working with younger people will keep you excited, and it's fun to watch you guys and everybody that I've met and their dreams, even though we're all doing something a little bit different. We still, we can bounce off ideas, and I don't mind being the old fart in the group. But it's really kind of cool because it fires my excitement up, watching you, Sebastian, and you guys, the things you want to do, and Marty, and it's kind of fun. I've been through
Sebastian
a lot.
takes visionary to like a
Yeah,
whole new
that's
level.
true. That's true. But it really does make a difference, and being a part of a group of like-minded people, and we have a lot more in common. We can talk technical, or we can talk. We're all dealing with kind of the same situations. But and that was fun to watch culture, because I'm on the South Carolina State Workforce Development Board, and I talk a lot about that. I call it my unpaid full-time job, but I love it. And one of the reasons why I love it is because I love working, coming up with small ideas, and that's what my committee does. It looks over the horizon and sees what's coming. And corporate culture is huge for our future workforce. It's a big deal, and it's something that you've got to think about when you're growing. And again, I know I was shocked when I heard him say, "Well, I got rid of one of my best installers because he didn't fit our culture." And that's what we actually hire for now. That's total. I don't care if they know what they're doing. I can teach them, and I can teach them the way I want it done. But one of the things that I have learned last year that really kind of slapped me in the face was, especially when pricing, all of a sudden everybody's offering a lot of money. There's an age group out there that wants X number of dollars per hour, but they have no clue how much more you pay for benefits like time off and health insurance if you offer it, and retirement stuff. They got no clue what that real. We look at it from the backside. So you got an employee that's taking home $22 an hour, but you're paying them $25, $28 an hour just to pick up those benefits.
So in our 2022 kickoff meeting that we did Monday, we showed an example of what the total investment is into a $40,000 employee. Mm-hmm. It came out to be like almost $47,000. Yeah. And so there was like a 6,000 and some change difference between what their total compensation is. But what they're looking at is 20 or 25% taken out of 40, right? Which is what? $30,000 take home. Mm-hmm. But the investment to have them as an employee is like 46. That's a pretty big difference.
It's huge. It's huge. Right? And a lot of people a lot of employees don't realize.
Yeah.
So, one of the things we adopted is, okay, I sat down and went through this, and we have a smorgasbord of benefits, and I show them what they cost, and I say, you tell me what you want. What's important to you? Time off, sick days. We're working on flex schedules. That's an idea that we got, and I heard that on a podcast, and my guys went, I was surprised how responsive they were to that idea. So, that's one of the things I'm going to work on, and it's important. And the other thing about it, and especially when you have a small company, I think the key thing is, and you all probably agree, that your employees are your family, extended family. So you know more about them than, big companies, you can kind of get away from that. But we know everything. So, I think that a lot of people are attracted to that relationship, and, doing fun things, going out, doing whatever you want to do for fun, like you guys going out to dinner and you guys going throwing axes and stuff like that. That really creates family. Yeah. And I think about all the guys that have worked for me. I still have relationships with guys that worked for me 20 years ago. And I get guys that have worked for me off and on while they're doing things in gaps, and I'm really excited about that. So
it's good.
It's something that I think it's really important, and that's something I've really gotten new ideas here. So
it's good,
and I kept it under my time limit, didn't I?
No. I mean, you're a couple minutes over. That's much improved.
My wife is rolling her eyes as we speak.
Yeah. No, I mean, we're definitely not in an hour, which I was surprised, but that was good. Very helpful. Thank you. All right, Jason Meadows.
Yes, sir.
Introduce yourself. Where are you from?
Florida.
You're going to have to get a little bit closer, talking to the microphone.
About right here. Pretty close.
Yeah, you're good right there.
Originally from Florida, flew out to
If
Texas.
you're going to look at me, pull the mic this way, and I know I'm sexy, so it's tempting.
It's hard to resist.
Flew out to Texas about a year and a half ago, originally from Florida. And, started the business, started running Meadows Garage Doors, and trying to build some momentum. It's been fun. I think we started the GDU maybe 3-4 months, and it was one of those almost, this is awesome, joined immediately when we called. I think you went to give me a pitch, and I was like, yep, I'm signing up, and then jumped into a meeting. What was it, like 10 minutes or right after our phone call?
Oh, you went straight into it after you signed up?
Yep.
That's funny.
Literally, the meeting was like 10 minutes after our first phone call. And
talking about closing.
Yeah.
Hey, if you sign up right now, you can get in this meeting that happens.
It was funny. Ryan made sure he got my deposit first.
Let make sure. All right, you're clear. Let him in.
He waited on that credit card to clear, and yep. Then we,
That's awesome. So you guys do residential? You guys do any commercial?
A little bit. Like I only do it for like previous customers, but
okay.
I don't really feel like stocking all of the equipment.
Couldn't imagine why.
Yeah, no. Commercial's a pain in the butt.
So you flew in with all these crazy dudes. What's a takeaway that you feel was valuable to you and your company?
The transparency and ease and flow of information is, I think, sets the tone.
Yeah, I'm over transparent. A lot of people tell me, but I've got nothing to hide. And so when you have nothing to hide, transparency comes a lot easier. And then, like, if someone views it differently, it might be an opportunity for you to change it, or you might be doing it right. You know, there's people that tell me I do stupid shit all the time. Like, does that make me want to change it? Makes me want to keep doing it, honestly, because I don't want to do the status quo. But I think transparency, like a lot of business owners give me a hard time because I let my staff see the cost on doors so they can mark it up. But what's the alternative? Like, because we sell so many different doors, I would have to hire a staff person to build out the quotes and do like, why? Like, I just want to empower my staff to do it from A to Z, and hire professionals that can handle that part.
It makes all the guys just take ownership.
Yeah.
And they just step up. It makes it a lot easier for them to step up.
Yeah.
Because even the two guys, we got two full-time guys, and they want to take on more responsibility, but I don't think I've given them the access to the information that they need.
Well, you can grow faster when everything doesn't have to funnel through you.
Yep.
Right? And then you just, like, let it go. I think it was business owners, we hold on so tight to certain things, and we're like, oh, nobody can do this as well as I can do it. But then it gets to the point where even you can't do it as well as you could do it if you were dedicated to it, right? But you're doing 15 things good where you could literally hire someone to do that one thing great, even if it's not as good as you would have done it if that was your only job. So I would rather have somebody focus on it 100% doing it good than me doing it bad, right? And so it just gets to the point where you have to, like, let go eventually. And I think that's probably one of the biggest issues with business owners, in my opinion.
Which I agree, and I know there's going to be some room of error once you actually give over all the information, let them, decide, make some decisions. But, being on almost probably 50% of the calls because they're calling me over and over and over again, it's getting old.
Yeah. So it'll get to the point where you decide I'm not doing this anymore and then hand it off. And we'll all get there. And there's little things all of us do, right? Like, reflect on yourself. And then, like, there's that one book Jocko wrote, Extreme Ownership. Like, that, as a business owner, there's not a better book. And like, we've had employees where I find out afterwards that they stole from me. I'm like, that's my fault. I didn't have good inventory system, didn't have good accountability, all that. That's my fault, right? If I had all that, that probably wouldn't have happened. If I hired that guy, had I not hired him, then it wouldn't have been a problem. So, like, when you start looking at everything that way, then you're like, you start to see, well, I'm human. Like, I can only do so much. So I need to hire good people, put them in good position, and give them the tools they need to succeed. And without that, you just don't have an effective business. So anything else you guys want to share?
Actually, real quick, I was doing some math over here just to make sure that I got the numbers right. My wife and I figured out the other day that, when we invest in that 1 hour a week that we're taking with our employees, I don't think that it really gets acknowledged that per employee, on average, it's costing us with payroll taxes about $8,156 per employee. Yeah, about. It's exactly
34 cents.
I left you. There's my 25 cents right there. About $8 grand.
No OCD involved there.
And
you can remove the about when you tell this story.
about $8,000, and that's per employee. That's 1 hour each. That's 1 hour out of the each day, or that's also included 1 hour that gets wasted too. So
you're doing an hour every day?
No. My apologies. So we do 1 hour a week, and then we do 15 minutes.
That's good.
About 15 minutes a day. But then in between, there's a little bit of time that gets wasted. So it's just the things that don't get realized that fall on the business owner.
But there's deposits into culture.
Right.
Right. So like you have to figure out dollars to culture. Culture attracts better talent or great talent. And so it's a trickle effect, right? So if you can get your staff bought in and then you invest in them, getting them certified, getting them trained up, teaching them things they don't already know, constantly working with them on personal and business stuff, that creates a better culture. The meetings, even though like it takes more time and whatever, like it may cost you that in payroll, but ultimately that's you're depositing into your culture bank, right? And so there's a cost to that. Just like there's a cost of developing somebody's skill set, there's a cost of developing your culture.
Right.
And if you're not investing into it financially, then it's probably not moving in that direction anyway.
Right, exactly. And that's why we care about it so much, because we know that this is one of the best investments that we have. But we don't we're not going to throw that out there to our team, of course, but it was kind of going off what Jason was saying.
As a business owner, that's how we measure things.
That's exactly. And
Investing that much, might as well let them make the decisions that need to be made in order to keep the jobs.
That's right.
Rolling in.
I've got a book
going,
I've mentioned on here before, Mastering the Rockefeller Habits by Vern Harnish. If you guys haven't read that book, strongly recommend it. It's on Audible. And so check that book out. He talks a lot about like structuring meetings, having them short, 15 minutes, in, out, having an agenda and a focus during the meeting. One of the things that I find a lot with our managers meetings, we'll all come in, open up our laptops and start like banging out emails, and then it's like 5 past when we start meeting, and then we'll start talking, and then another person will start typing on their email, and I'm like, let's close our computers. Let's have a conversation, right? And put your phones down, and let's just chat. And so it's easy to be distracted, but here's what I've also found, and I learned this working from home, is that if you're disciplined with your time, and when it's time to knock out all the BS work, then you can get it done a lot quicker than if you just do it gradually, little pockets, and you do it more effectively, right? So if you're working from home, you have like a 12-hour window that you can work. A lot of times what you're doing is that you're working while you're eating. You're not working at full capacity. You're working while you're doing this. You're not working at full capacity. But if you were to just go in your office and block everything off for 6 hours, which is half the time or whatever, you can get more accomplished during that amount of time, focusing strictly on what you have to do than trying to multitask or do other things. And so as business owners, a lot of times we have to challenge our staff and ourselves. Me, hey, I'm guilty as charged, right? But we have to recognize that in ourselves, and that's just being self-aware and understanding and trying to take that. And we talked about being intentional. And I think that's super important. That was my theme 2 years ago, was be intentional, be present, be intentional. And so every year we have a theme. This year we made every detail matters, right? And so when you fix all the big stuff, now it's time to hone in on the little stuff and just get really good at blocking and tackling before we can get into entry doors or windows or garage storage or flooring or whatever, right? Whatever we want to do, we can't do that well if we don't have the blocking and tackling figured out and what we're doing now. And so that's what we're talking about is, every detail matters. And that's kind of what we'll start drilling into everybody's head every single day. And then that way when they're out and about and they're like, oh, that doesn't matter, I'm tired, whatever, it'll be every detail matters. And when we go do a quality control check, hey, bro, I know this isn't a big deal to you maybe, but every detail matters. This is important. We like our wires to be nice and clean. You know what I'm saying? We want them this way. This is how we trained you. It matters. matters. It matters. It matters. And once the guys get that concept and they buy into it, now you're not only good at the big things of just installing a garage door, but you're good at all the little things that make a difference. And you can charge more for that because now your guys are bought into all the details. And now you have guys who are trying to do it at your standard or as close to it as possible. And then you have more confidence of sending those guys out to do the work that you feel like you're best at, right? So, sorry, I'm rambling. I knew we had one extra person in Jay in this group, and so it was going to go a little over. Listen, if you guys are listening to this podcast, we love some feedback. Make sure you hit us up on Facebook. Like our Facebook page, Torsion Talk Podcast. Make sure you support our sponsors because without them, we couldn't do this. They've helped me build my studio and help pay for Tamara to organize all the interviews and all that. So we greatly appreciate you guys checking those guys out. Like their Facebook page and support them by their products. We love you. Thank you, and be safe.